Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. Today we are playing knight to f6, Alekhine's defense against the move e4. The rating steadily climbing up as we are back above 2100. We have lured the e-pawn forward to then play knight d5, luring, and I don't know why I'm saying it like that, another pawn forward and basically attempting to overextend this center. Will they go for f4 and commit? Really, they do. We will go g6, and we are about to play some of the dankest theory you've ever seen in your life. They'll probably go for something like knight c3, bishop e3. We're going to play the move bishop to e6. The reason we're going to do this is that after they do this, we are going to get straight back to c8. Thank you very much. We have just wasted two moves. However, I think this is legitimately a playable idea, an idea that I've seen Magnus play, or maybe it was Ferrugia. I think it was Magnus though. It was either Magnus against Ferrugia or Ferrugia against Magnus. There was an online blitz game where this idea was played, tempting forward the pawn again to then play c6, chip away at this absolutely massive center here. But we've basically used two moves to allow them to just completely overextend their center. That's the argument. Now, if they take here, we can take back, developing the knight. White is not going to want to do that. But now after we've castled, our plan is we're going to chop, chop, and after they take back in the center like this, they're going to be left with two pawns very much unprotected by other pawns, as we just take here, and then after they take, we are going to take here, unprotected by other pawns, and very much able to be attacked by our own pieces. Now, if you take like this, immediately, am I not winning this because the bishop is misplaced? Like takes. Hello? I think we just win this pawn. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do nothing and win at chess. The point originally, it's important to understand your openings conceptually speaking, and the point of this one is to draw your opponent's pawns forward and play in a kind of hyper-modern way, attacking it with little moves like d6, g6, bishop g7. But here, this takes it to a whole nother level. I mean, just wasting two moves to tempt the other pawn forward, and then eventually our opponent carelessly lets one of these pawns slip. We will then take like this, and now we're just up a pawn. And what remains of their once great center? Absolutely nothing is the answer to that question. There is huge pressure on this pawn, which is now isolated as well as overextended, as well as being, pressured by two of my pieces already. And the knight, as it jumps to c6, I believe, is going to be my move. Seems completely reasonable. Now, the game is absolutely far from over, but you can 100% count that idea of bishop e6, bishop c8 as having paid off. That was an opening success, I do believe. They now start to over-defend this pawn. They clearly are scared that something similar will happen again. h3 was an annoying move to see because bishop g4 would be a really nice move to play, pinning the knight. So opponent understands that that is a slight problem for me. I think honestly I could play this move knight d4 though. Because if knight takes, there's like queen takes here, and if you go bishop takes here, if you go bishop e3 blocking the check, I take the pawn here. So knight d4, queen d4 check. You have to then move the king or trade the queens. And at that point it's like, then I'm just going to play like b6, bishop b7. We're going to go for this, guys. I don't want to liquidate the game too early, but I don't think this is too early to do so, and I also think this is kind of tactically justified. Because we are going to force one of these two moves now. Yeah, so the king just steps across, and we are just up a pawn. Right, how do I activate this bishop? That is now basically my only problem, is that this bishop is dead. I think the answer is b6 and bishop b7, but I am a little worried if I play b6 that we see bishop e4 straight away, hitting my rook. I could honestly play bishop e6, guys. Oh my, and you know what? That would be so funny, because let's just scroll back here. Look where we went with that bishop in the first place. Came straight back, and now, I mean, I'm gonna do it. Bishop e6. I'm not convinced this is the best move. It absolutely could be as well, because it's not exploitable. And although it does leave this e pawn a little bit stranded behind the bishop, like, it actually might be a super active position for the bishop. Allow the rooks to swing in and connect like this. And also, if bishop here, we can go bishop d5 maybe. And if like rook here, we could just take. So they push the pawn. I mean, I guess we were threatening it. And also, I guess we were putting some long-term pressure on a2. But I think we just bring the rooks to the c and the d files. I mean, look at our pawn structure. Chess is sometimes beautifully simple. Like, where do these rooks want to be? On the two open files next to each other, staring down the board. Almost certainly. Now, do I want to go here first? Or here first? I don't know if it makes a huge amount of difference. I probably will have to move my queen. She does seem slightly misplaced. If I go here, they defend with this rook, because if they go with this rook, then I take the bishop. So here, sorry, here, here. Then what's going on? Then I might just drop back with queen b6, for instance. Okay, we're going to bring the rook to the d file, bring the other rook to the c file, and try to slowly simplify what's going on here. I think queen b6 makes a lot of sense, although honestly, keeping an eye on this bishop can't hurt. Like, could I just play queen b4, for instance? If you go here, like, okay, then I'll drop back maybe. But then, I like this. We're going to play queen b4. We're going to keep an eye, a watchful eye over the bishop on f4 to keep this rook glued to that bishop. And now the job is improve this bishop, get the rook to the c file, make sure I sort of have these pawns orchestrated in a way where they will not be hanging, and then slowly trade down into an endgame where I should just be up a pawn and should be able to win the e5 pawn, I think. Now, this is not my normal style of chess, but when I saw this game, this Magnus game, with his bishop e6, bishop c8 idea, I think I've seen a Fabiano Caruana game, but you know what? It might not be. If we tab forward here, it might not be in this exact position. It might be when the bishop's on here instead of the knight being on f3. And probably the computer's going to say that makes some difference. I have no idea, and also don't care. So the bishop now comes here, and we do see the exploitation of this pawn, which is held though. So I could just play h6. Hello? Although if h6 bishop here, am I willing to play g5? I don't know. h6 could just be a weakness, but it also could provide a little square for my king. Not entirely sure. Actually, whoa, you can't go here. My queen holds this square. We're playing h6. Either you go back to f4. You cannot be taking this because my queen holds. My queen is in an immaculate position to just be bullying this bishop right now. So the bishop steps back. And so now what they've done is, okay, they've induced h6. I don't really think that's a huge weakness. This is held. We can play king h7. And it's my move again. So we've gained a bit of tempo there. Rook d4. Just threaten to take. That could be so funny. Should I actually play rook d4? What if you go here? Then what happens? Yeah, I think lifting rooks like that is probably a bit of a dangerous venture. I want to do this in e6 actually. Should we do that? I think we should do that. Let's play it. Let's play it. I don't want my my bishop here in front of the e-pawn. I want it beautifully placed in the center, staring at this king. And I want to play e6 to stabilize it. Also, this stabilizes the b-pawn backwards. And maybe we'll go for a little minority attack over here with a5, a4. Sorry, that's completely the wrong word to use. This is not a minority attack because there are the same number of pawns. Okay, so they play bishop. Okay, I don't understand this move. Because I'm going to take. I really don't get that move. We're going to take. If you play queen takes, I will be taking. So you play pawn takes, absolutely mangling the pawn structure. And we've traded down a pair of pieces while I'm up a pawn. I don't think that makes much sense. I'll be completely honest. Now we could trade a pair of rooks. But honestly, I think I'm just going to go... The thing is, they might go for e6. And that could be a good way to get rid of this weak pawn while also doing some damage to my structure. I might just play e6 myself. And you know what? Whoa, careful, I don't want this. And then losing on b7. We're going to go here. Okay, I'm just going to start playing a few faster moves now. Probably less accurate, but we're still definitely playing for a win. I'm just really happy about our opening sort of idea working. And again, we're keeping constant pressure on here. They do go e6. Oh, that's so annoying. I knew they were going to do that, and I just let it happen. I guess there was this problem. I guess I could play rook. What am I doing? What am I doing? Why did I do that? Here. This is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? We're going to do it anyway. Bang. Oh dear. We can't allow takes. And if we go f6, we're just killing the bishop. So f5 it is. Yeah, I shouldn't have allowed e6. I really shouldn't have allowed e6. But if I did something to prevent it, then there's rook here. And I should have traded the rooks, then played e6. Then there's no rook here. I am dumb. I am very dumb. And if rook takes, queen takes, we can take this pawn. And then defend the e6 threat. Yeah, okay, I'm just bad at the game. I've really sort of let myself make this much more complicated than it needed to be. But I think we still should be fine, honestly. Because there's still weaknesses in my opponent's position. Wow. Takes. There's a passed pawn on the d7 square. Let me go here, though. Let's just send it. Why not? Why not? Absolutely no respect for the opponent right now. We're playing e5. We are sending all our pawns at them. And I'm just going to play rook d8. Get in the way of this pawn promoting. I'm going to go here. I'll just go back. I mean, we're holding this pawn twice. You play bishop e3. I'm going to go back to here, because now we're on a light square, not exploitable by this. Keeping an eye on both of the weak points here. If rook here, we go under, threatening to take. This is hanging, but this is also hanging. Bishop holds these weak pawns. Queen here, I'm going to go like this just because we can. If you go check, I go here. Okay, we trade the queens. You obviously do not play pawn takes, you play rook takes. Then we go here. Then if you take, I go here. I think this wins because this pawn's going to be passed in the end. King f7. This is the idea. Maybe they go here. Attack this pawn. Okay, no, but they took, as I thought. Then we go here. Ready to just take this. All light squares, they cannot do anything about it. They might go here. But I take and this is defended anyway, so there's no reason to do that. This pawn is going to start pushing. The bishop keeps its eye on it for now. But if the rook comes off the board, it's going to be an easy conversion. Cheers. Okay. Can't push this because your rook hangs. I don't think there's any real way. Like, I think we're actually really secure here. You know, this is the only weak. I mean, these two are weak pawns. But okay, now we take. And okay, now we should just be fine because we bring this up. If you go here, I go check. And I'm threatening b6, am I not? Wait a second, look at this. Here, we hold the king out. This is beautiful, look, the king cannot come in here. We also hold the b8 square to threaten b6, trapping the bishop, because it doesn't then have b8, to play king b7, go and take this bishop. What a move bishop e5 is. So you now have to move the bishop. And if you move it here, then we take, oh yes. Here. Then it might be this. Oh no. And then here. There's takes. Or there's take. Oh, near. Okay, so our idea was not necessarily as functional as I'd have hoped. We might have to just send it and play b6 anyway. Honestly though, how about this? I want to go check. I want to trade this. These pawns are weak. They will fall to my king. They do not hold each other. My pawns are very, very strong. Very, very strong. If you go here, that's a problem in itself. Because now I go... I can just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. I have 1 minute 10. This is now a weak point where I'm going to now go here to hit this. You can put your bishop here, but then I do this, and then this pawn's hit. So then if you step forward, I could push, takes, check. I think this works. We push. You have to take. Then we go check. Force the bishops off the board. And we're just up. Because you are not stopping me taking this pawn. My pawn guards this a6 square. This is a 3-on-2 that you are not going to be able to go and exploit. You even cannot move in and towards yet. We go over here. Yeah, you're going to go here. I'm going to take. We have 1. And well, I mean, we'll count them off. 2, 3, 4. And resignation. Resignation in 3, 2, 1. Not resigning. Okay, well, we're going to just hold this pawn. Might as well. And just pre-move this. Because that is a beautifully safe pre-move. Then the king will go here or here. It chooses to go here. Very big mistake. Well, I mean, nothing really matters at this point anyway. Our opponent is begging us for a stalemate. We are just going to push. They're going to push. Then we push. They go here. We push. They go here. And if we queen, that is a stalemate. But I mean, let's just give a little check. Why not? Go over here. And then push. And then push again. And you will not be making a new queen, or you will be, but I will be taking that. And then we will be going here. And there's a really nice technique where you can view this queen cutting off the king here as putting it in a box, because the queen obviously has that pleasant property of being able to also see the diagonals. So after king here, which is the only legal move, we can then put our queen on this square, and it will hold here, 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 and here. And then the king will be left to hopelessly oscillate back and forth, as I've said before, like a depressed Newton's cradle. And we will walk the king over and play queen g7 mate, but I think we might have just seen a rage quit. Cheers to a beautiful game. Well, it looks like I was right. Absolute certified wasteman behaviour from our opponent as they let the time run out and hand us the win. Let's analyse. Okay, we're going to do a relatively speedy analysis because 94% accuracy is not bad, although we did make a couple mistakes which are fairly obvious in this graph, but 94% accuracy, I will take that. Probably that's because we got a lot of best moves in at the end to just bump up the accuracy numbers, but let's just go through the game. So we're going to open the Masters database. Obviously the interesting part about this game is this idea. With knight f6, Alakai's defense, e5, knight e5, c4, knight goes back, d4, d6, and f4 here. You see in the Masters database this has happened between Fabiano Carlsen, why did I just call him Carlsen? Fabiano Magnus, Hikaru Magnus, Alexander Morozevich, and Hikaru. We've got Grishuk, Peter Svidler, Vasil Ivanchuk. Whoa, huge names here. And then yeah, Jan Nepomniachtchi down here. Awesome stuff. Pawn g6. This is not the top move, but tends to do reasonably for black at master rating. 124 games, and we see g6 here. Now Magnus has. This is a Magnus game from 2020. He beat Fabiano with this. Knight f3, bishop g7, knight c3, and bishop e6 has been played once. But we played g6, knight f3, bishop g7, and knight c3. And the point is here that I knew e6, bishop e6 wasn't the exact game, but I think if we play knight c3 here, then bishop g7, then bishop e3, then you can see 47 games played with this idea of bishop to e6, which is it. Oh my! This was the Magnus game between Magnus and Fabiano. There was also a Magnus Ferrugia game played just blitz somewhere online that I got hold of somehow. But this is awesome. And in that game, Fabiano did not play d5. However, the top master response here is d5. This wasn't exactly the game we played. Of course, it was the knight here instead of the bishop. But the move to punish this inaccuracy is h4. Who cares? I have no words. No opponent is playing this. Everyone's going to play d5, or maybe b3 if they're very scared. But you can see that after d5 and we go back to c8, bishop here, and like white just doesn't have much of an advantage at all. Namely, due to the fact that we are then going to play c6, we are then going to castle, which was a mistake because of e6. Okay, so it looks like tactically here this was a mistake. The idea to take first would have been better, but castles allowed e6, takes, then what? Takes with the pawn? Oh, knight g5. Because this is a big problem, and this is a problem, and this is a problem, and the light squares are just all the problem. Okay, I do understand. I did not even think about the idea of e6, I'll be honest. In the future, I will prepare for that more specifically, but they go h3 here. Then we take, and pick up the pawn here. And so our idea in general has paid off. Knight takes, queen here, knight c6, best move, and then knight here, best move, takes. Okay, we're doing really well. And bishop e6 here, best move. Oh yes, the bishop comes back to e6. What beautiful poetry. And we bring the rook to the d file. Queen b4, best move. I was finding some excellent best moves. Bishop here, takes. And this was a mistake. Okay, fully aware this was a mistake. I think I realized in the game what I should have done was go here, and then play e6 to prevent e6 for my opponent. They could go rook d7, but then, I mean, this is held and this is held. It's not actually too much of a direct concern. What I failed to notice was that if I played e6 here, I thought they could do this. But I can just go queen e7 and hold this square. Okay, basically I'm a moron. I'm a complete moron. I recognized the problem of e6 and did nothing about it, which is why this was a mistake, but at least I knew it was a mistake in the game. We go for f5, here, takes, and here, bishop goes back, queen c6 best, here, rook d8 best, here, hello, and that's a mistake. Which I kind of thought it was, because you really give up on the idea of trying to promote this pawn ever, because I'm just going to keep my rook under there. I think my opponent might have thought they could take this and then go bishop b6 and get rid of my rook from under there, but after you trade the queens, it is just too late. We can go here, and then you move the king. I mean, even if you go bishop b6, we're going to take on d7, so then we take, king here, bishop e5, was that the best move? Looks like it, awesome. Here, and I should have played b6, but then a5. Oh, and I just take. I was so obsessed with the idea of trapping this bishop that I forgot I could just take that pawn, and that's another outside pass pawn. And if here, then I take, and if you take here, I just, yeah, okay. I'm actually an idiot, but instead we went bishop here, then just bishop back, and we just danced around and eventually exploited the fact that the king had to go and keep up with this pawn, and after takes we can just trade this off, and now this was a really simple endgame. Promote the pawn and just make sure we don't stalemate. And the really nice and instructive thing about this, right at the end, the only last bit of instructive stuff, is that using that queen to put it on g5 and stay a knight's shadow away from the king basically means that the king will only have these two red squares, and we can just walk our king over and checkmate on g7. So a beautiful game, admittedly not the most ingenious, accurate game, but really funny that we actually won a pawn off the back of that bishop e6, bishop c8 idea. Maybe the title of this video will be something to do with like how to do nothing and win at chess. I have no idea. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. I will try and brush up on my opening prep to make it a little bit more sound in the future. But thanks very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for the next video. It's currently 3 AM, which is why maybe I'm being a little hushed and maybe a little subdued here. No shouting about bishop e6 ideas being the best moves. I do not want to wake up my whole family, but I am tired. I'm going to post this video tomorrow, edit it tomorrow, post it tomorrow at you know, about 8:30 GMT, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next one.